Hey, Verified News community, Brittany Harlow here, director, lead journalist at VNN, broadcasting live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you for tuning in for another rendition of VNN Live on Wednesday nights. I just posted the stream schedule for VNN a little earlier. I meant to post it yesterday, but time just has a way of getting away from you. But you can go check that out on our Insta and Facebook. Tonight, July 6th, we're doing VNC Updates. If you're just tuning in with us for the first time, just newly a part of our Verified News community, welcome. Thank you for being here. We are a social news media company. We have a social news media app called the VNN app. You can find that at app.verifiednews.network. That's where we share all of our stories from a variety of sources, including original reporting from our VNN partner journalists, such as myself, the original VNN journalist out of Oklahoma. Before I get too far into tonight's live stream, I want to invite you to be a part of the conversation. Here, verifiednews.network is where you can go to connect to all of our different mediums. You just want to drop a comment, be a part of what we're doing here tonight. I encourage you to use the chat here in YouTube, or you can email me, bharlow@verifiednews.network. I would say that out of all the technology addictions I have, it is checking my email. So I am constantly doing that and interacting with commentators and people's opinions in our Verified News community, and really anyone who's curious about what we do and who we are. Email is a very easy way to get in touch with me because I'm constantly up in my inboxes, and I should honestly cut that off and set some boundaries there. But not tonight. Email me, bharlow@verifiednews.network if you want to be a part of the conversation, or again, just drop something in the comment. And even if you're watching this some other time, not live, I still am up in the comments too, interacting with people and finding out what people have to say and getting that back and forth going. My final ask for you would be to subscribe at verifiednews.network. Sign up for our free emails. We also have a Substack that has a premium newsletter attached to it. And that is a way that we fund some of our journalism here. Our Substack, for the most part, is free. But if you want to help us out and support some local journalism and reporting, then please do us a solid and throw some dollar bills our way to support our journalism work. All right, moving along. Also, as part of my VNN Lives that we do every week, try to do every week for VNN, I go and I share what's been going in the app this week. But I'm not going to lie, the last thing that I've posted there was on Sunday, and here we are, Wednesday night. So that is highly unusual, but there's a couple things going on, and it is a really great kind of summary about what tonight is all about, me talking to you about essentially what we have going on and what's in the works, and why I haven't posted a story there in 3 days. So it is July 6th. Obviously, Monday was July 4th. I didn't work that day, which was nice. It's nice not working holidays. I did post something on my page and VNN's page, but for the most part, I had a get-together with our president and CEO of Verified News Network, who is also my husband, and his company. He has another company because we are a family of entrepreneurs, and so we had a little gathering And it was nice, even though it's a million degrees outside and seems to be so for the foreseeable future. Anyway, Weather Across America, I post that every Sunday on behalf of the National Weather Service. We used to do Oklahoma weather, but I'm really just like fascinated by just all weather across the country, thus Weather Across America. And I really like that segment because it gives you like a really broad look at what's happening across the country at that moment in time versus, the local weather that you get from your local stations, like TV stations and radio stations, which is also very important. I get mine through my app on my phone, which is another good kind of segue about why we have this app that you see on your screen. App.verifiednews.network is where it's located. It's called a progressive web app, is the kind of technology that it is. So it's essentially a very functional, high-functioning website that you can download to your phone like any other app and open it. It's customizable. You can register yourself an account, customize your news by different news feeds. And so there's a lot of different cool perks with that. I encourage you guys all to register a free account. You register under 5 different user categories depending on what you're contributing. A lot of people who are registered as citizens, they just want to be able to comment on stories, maybe not necessarily contribute stories themselves, though they're able to. Everyone's held to the same journalistic standard, but in addition to citizen users, we also have official users like local police departments, municipalities. We have experts that have been in their field for at least 10 plus years. We have our news affiliates, particularly here in Oklahoma. We have the Frontier, Big If True, Muskogee Media recently added the Black Wall Street Times. And then, of course, we can't forget our journalists who are partner journalists across the country. I am one of the VNN Oklahoma journalists. We also have Jenna James. She is awesome. I've known her for a really long time. And so back to the story of why there has been no story. There has been a story that I've been working on, honestly, since April. And a lot of the stories and reporting that I do take a lot of time. And they're complex. It's a lot of stuff to break down. We have a lot going on. And so whenever you see a story on, I would say, like one of my longer stories that I write that has video accompanied to it, that is through this YouTube channel that's embedded within the VNN app, it's probably taking me weeks to do it. And this one particular story that I'm publishing this week is taking me months to do it. And it's a deep story. It's about, one of those stories that not many entities are reporting on in the state of Oklahoma. That's what I like to report on, and what I encourage all of our journalists across the country to hone in on is those untold news media stories. And so it's kind of a heavy topic, and I worked really hard on it, and I want to do it justice. And so that takes a while to kind of get in that zone and get all the pieces together. So that's going to be published this week. Like I said, we have a lot of affiliates that contribute to the app, and so that's also going in this week too. And that's kind of the beauty of this social news media app that we have, is because these stories that I do, they take a long time to produce. Like my history is I was a radio producer, news reporter for a year out of college, and then I worked in television news for 3 years. And I got out of that because I wanted to take more time with each story. I was done with the 8-hour turns, the oversimplification of complex issues. And so, but that being said, these stories take a long time to do. And a lot of the stories that our other journalists take to do are affiliates, but we're not pumping out, 24-hour turns. These are stories that are taking a lot of time and effort to do them right, and to do them justice, and to do them the right way. And so that means that we post less frequently as far as the content that we're producing. And that's the beauty of having affiliates and having multiple journalists a lot of the time, is that the news is and information and these top quality stories are always kind of coming through the pipeline. But this is like the first time I've ever done this VNN Live, when I literally hadn't posted anything since Weather Across America. But I guarantee you that we have some great stories coming tomorrow, because as soon as I do this VNN Live, I'm probably going to go watch a show, because that's how I relax at night, by watching Peaky Blinders before I go to bed. But I'm not going to be working anymore tonight, and so we'll put out some more stories tomorrow. I want to say that the story that I'm doing, I won't be able to do it tomorrow, the story that I've been working on for a long time, but I'm really confident that I'll be able to post it on Friday. It's ahead of an event that's happening in Broken Arrow on Saturday that you'll learn more about. So I'm really excited to be able to share this story with you. It's part of the Friedman coverage that we've been doing here in Oklahoma. And there's just, I checked out a book from the library today that has helped telling this story. And I don't know how many pages it is. It's like, 300 to 400 pages. And I was looking for specific to Oklahoma and to the coverage that I'm working on. This author that is written about these issues and this history. And every time I turned a page, it was something that I had never heard of before. And this whole book is like untold history. So you're gonna see what that book is in the story that I'm posting. But I did want to catch you up on some other updates that I'm super excited about. I'm going to throw up our Fate series, From Adversity to Entrepreneurship here. Scroll up. I'm so excited that some of these pages will actually let me scroll now. But if you're not familiar with From Adversity to Entrepreneurship, it's a series that we started. I want to say I started working on it in May. We had our first Tulsa event in June, and then we have our next one coming up in Okmulgee on July 16th. So in 10 days, we're having our next Fate event. We have been exploring the benefits of communities overcoming adversity and entering into entrepreneurship and what that does for their communities, as well as the barriers that still stand in the way from that happening. And so our first Tulsa event was very intimate. There was, I think, about 6 or 7 of us, all different kind of community perspective, entrepreneur perspective, resource perspective. And we just came together and had this like super candid, personal conversation about those topics and those different elements of this equation from adversity to entrepreneurship. And it was just so raw and emotional. I'm excited to be able to share the results of that conversation and bring it to our Okmulgee event, which I feel is going to be totally different because there's so many resources for entrepreneurs here in Tulsa, but in Okmulgee, not so much. So I've been here all the while. Black Friedman on Freedom on Native Land is a really good book too. Ooh, thank you. I will definitely look that up in the comments. There's 3 really good books. I guess that's the 4th one that is out there about Friedman coverage, and I can't imagine like why it's not so more talked about and more known, especially in those communities themselves, like the of their own, the descendants, and so I actually reached out to the Oklahoma State Department of Education to find out when Friedman teachings was added to the state curriculum, because when I just interviewed someone, and when I interviewed him, he had said it was not taught in schools, and he had only found out about it 15 years ago. This gentleman that I interviewed that actually is a Friedman descendant. And so that was super interesting. So I'm going to look at that book. Thanks for that comment. And we also partnered with Big If True, getting back to our Fate series here, to produce contextual reporting that is necessary to understand the roots of adversity within Oklahoma and American Indian reservations. This first story is from Big If True. All of the contextual reporting is from Big If True, but this first story is about female incarceration, and how if there were more resources for women, there would be less female incarceration, specifically mental health resources, and you would also save the state millions. So we're adding on to that this week with more contextual reporting. I'm really excited to share this next story that we're doing is focused on American Indian history and the generational trauma and results of everything that the indigenous have experienced before coming to Oklahoma, specifically really how that is still existing here in Oklahoma. We definitely want to hear from you too. I've been getting lots of great responses from the community about their thoughts just about general adversity issues. And then of course, we're asking our addicts and entrepreneurs what that journey has been like for them and what barriers, so that we can discuss that. This is a new thing that I just recently added that I'm super happy that I got the chance to sit down and actually do this as part of the series. These are community resources for the Tulsa County and Okmulgee area as well as statewide. So we have a list of recovery resources, domestic, like housing and other things that like basic needs, employment, and then a whole list of really cool entrepreneurship resources that I think I've used a few of them, and they're just all good, and they've even grown since I entered entrepreneurship 4 years ago. But this was from our Facebook group for the Tulsa event, and then this Okmulgee event, again, is in 10 days, so definitely make sure to come to that. We're super excited, and I gotta say, I take on a lot of projects, and shout out to the Oklahoma Media Center, Native American Journalists Association, for the funding this Fate series that we're doing, this partnership with Big If True. Could not do it without them and that help. But I always take on projects, and I've been like this forever, that are a lot. I take on a lot. I'm like, I have an idea. I can do this. And then I'm like, whoa, like this is a huge thing. Like, I can't believe that I'm doing this. Sometimes, like, what was I thinking? Like, I'm responsible for doing all this now. But this is so empowering, not just for like the communities, but also for myself, because this is coming together like so wonderfully, and the learning is just so like exquisite, and I can't wait to just give it away to everyone. Like, this is what the community is saying they need. These are what all of our community members are lacking. Here's the barriers. This is what really is needed, and what is proven to work in communities and what is not working in communities, and now make some change. Because a lot of people just jump in and assume like this is what the people need, or this is what should be done, but the community is not really a part of the conversation very much. And so that was a really big reason why we did the community outreach in this area, is because we want to know what community members are saying from their own life experiences, and we want that to be worked into actual change. So kind of working as the middleman for change, which I feel is a role that we often play, but we have another really great opportunity as far as community outreach that I wanted to talk about this year. We've taken part in the Indie Growth Program from IndieGraph that really helped us kind of get a better understanding of ourselves and our news product, and on that path to sustainability, and finding exactly the best way to grow our audience and find out what our audience is wanting and needing, and then of course how we potentially would fund that, and because there's a lot of needs in a lot of our communities, but and specifically news and information needs that are not being met. And we want to do that. Like I would love nothing more than to do that. But unfortunately, a lot of the work still getting off the ground here 4 years in is volunteer. I do a lot of fundraising. We do a lot of grant writing, partnerships, sponsorship attempts. And, the last 4 years, it's been steadily growing and getting better and easier, and we're becoming more fundable, which only happens through years of dedication and hard work and not giving up. But we're still a long way away from sustainability, and it hurts to say that, but that's the reality, and I'm okay with that. Like 4 years in, I'm like, okay, it's hard, and getting into this, I knew that the news industry was floundering, and that is just it's a revenue problem, it's a trusting news problem, it's a corporate media problem. There's a lot of problems. But now I can finally say that, like, this is not like a me problem. This is an industry-wide problem. And I'm pretty excited to be getting so close to becoming more fundable and getting more funding to do this journalism that I know is having a great impact on our communities and telling stories that no one else is telling. And that's, again, why we exist. But that being said, Indie Growth Program, totally awesome. I love IndieGraph. I'm looking forward to working with them more in the future. We're also at the tail end of trusting news outreach specifically to our indigenous communities and majority Muskogee Nation to find out why citizens have low trust in news. And we obviously have going into this an understanding of why indigenous communities have low trust in pretty much everybody. But it's really interesting to hear that, because I have secondhand knowledge through like research and news and information, but this is actual community members talking about their family stories and their life stories and how that's impacted trust, and specifically trust in news. So it's just been so enlightening, and I'm really excited to take even more learning from that, and I just can't quit learning, and that's why I entered or applied Verified News Network into the Lion GNI sustainability audits and funding program, because I want to take what I've learned and what we are now, and do like an even deeper dive into what do we need, how can we be better, and then the Google News Initiative is actually funding our steps, and if we follow through with their recommendations into implementing this sustainability recommendations that they have. And so I'm so excited about that. I'm in the process right now. That's something that is due very soon, that I'm going to make time for very soon to finish this audit. I have to essentially audit VNN and our whole company, and then they will go in and kind of go over everything with like a fine-tooth comb, and then we'll have a meeting, and then we'll really talk about what VNN should do moving forward. And I learned about my expert. So excited to share and to meet her on Zoom, and talk about making VNN better, because that is, I could say I've learned one thing over the last 4 years, it would be that I cannot do this by myself. It's only as a community, as reaching out to as many collaborators and resources as possible, that's when I really get some great stuff going. And so I don't even think I pulled this up, but that is kind of a look at VNN up there with the other 25 independent news businesses that are selected for this sustainability program. And I'm so excited, again, to meet with this lady, and she really knows her stuff. So I'm excited about that opportunity that will help us grow. Like I said, we have a few methods already as far as getting information out there. We have our Substack. I would encourage you, if this is your first time learning about everything that we are doing, I would go ahead and take a look at subscribe, either online, I told you at the beginning, verifiednews.network, or you can go to our Substack, which is, I believe, verifiednews.substack.com. And then you can take a look at all of our news and updates. We round up our news every month with This Month in America. There you can see. There it is. But you can also, I want to say, subscribe right there. And you have the option to sign up for just the free stuff, or if you want to help us out and sign up for a premium membership. We have premium memberships that can unlock exclusive content. And that has been pretty much just behind the scenes news and information. The more subscribers, paid subscribers I get, the more content I'm going to put in there. But we do have some stuff up there that you can unlock. And I am going to be getting off soon, but I have one last update. And this is going to be tricky because I can't like tell you what this update is exactly. I can tell you when this coming, like this news, this big news, but I'm not allowed to say it, but I will say that I'm going to share that big news on Monday, coming up this Monday. Let me backtrack. I'm not good with days of the week. This upcoming Monday is the 11th. I should have known that. But that day, I'm going to be putting out a very cool announcement about VNN. And you want to talk about behind the scenes. I thought about ways to like hint at what I'm talking about. You know, it's been a year in the making. If you go back in time a year ago to what VNN was talking about a year ago, you'll get a better idea about what this big announcement is about. But it's coming on Monday. I'm super, super excited and anxious and nervous and lots of feelings that it's going to be a whole nother side of me you've never seen before, and I haven't even seen it. So I'm anxious to see what I look like in this perspective, but I'm pretty sure that it was just all very confusing. But what I'd like you to take away from that is that there's some really cool, awesome news coming on Monday, July 11th about VNN. So make sure to check back on our app. Again, app.verifiednews.network. And just thanks for hanging out with us and listening to all of our updates and looking at them on the screen. And I hope that you get an idea of just how hard we're working behind the scenes to put out quality reporting, to change the news industry, to do news differently. I appreciate every member of our Verified News community. Thank you for being a part of our projects. Thank you for being a part of our dream. And just understanding that there's a lot of people that want better news and information that is helpful and not harmful, and news the right way, and social media that is the right way as far as sources of news, trusted news and information. And you get all of that with the VNN app, app.verifiednews.network. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'm going to throw the end scene up here so that you guys can reach out. Give me some shout outs, some comments, some thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you're feeling. Let me know. I'm looking forward to posting some more coverage this week, and then our big story on Monday, and let us know what else you want to see. All right, you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later.